good look at the stones as we move around the island, you'll notice that a lot of them are quite damaged. And the reason for that is they're hewn out of a local sandstone, which has got a very high clay content. So they tend to expand and contract with the weather. We do have a conservation program in process. Most of the stones have been coated in a solution called ethyl silicate. So far so good, no more damage. But there's no damage to this one. The reason for that, it is a modern stone and it was placed here by the Writers Guild of Australia on the 150th anniversary of Henry Savory's death. You're celebrating a thief, okay? And you're not supposed to profit from your crime. So let's pick up Henry's story. Henry was the 5th son of a Bristol banker, so therefore great education, middle to upper crust. He grows up and he goes into the sugar industry. Business is going along famously, and Henry here had a little bit of a habit, shall we say. We call it 5-finger discount these days. He couldn't quite keep his fingers out of the till. Now that's fine if it's your till, but if you've got a partner to answer to, the books have got to marry up. So he figured he'd forge a few bills to balance the books. One of those bills was £30,000, which is equivalent to around $6 million today. Oh my God. Slightly more than a $4 loaf of bread that they were transported from down south. So he figured, well, I'll just plead ignorance in case anybody catches on to what I'm doing. Well, bad luck, Henry. At the same time, he committed straight out forgery. There was another chap, Mr. Fauntleroy. He had also committed forgery. He was caught, tried, convicted, and he was hanged by the neck in London. Put yourself in Henry's shoes. You get a bit nervous, wouldn't you? Think they'd be after me next. So he thought he'd best skip the country. He goes to the nearest dockyard, boards the first vessel available, and he hides out. Bad luck again. The police board the vessel. He's captured, he's tried, he's convicted, and he was sentenced to be hanged in London. So what's he doing buried here? Do you all believe in justice for all? You cynical lot. At your age, you still believe in justice for all? I was going to say. You don't believe money, power, position might tilt the scales of justice just a touch? Well, there's your evidence. 12 hours before he was due to be hanged, influential friends and family pull a few strings, and his sentence is commuted to transportation. So now he sets sail for Van Diemen's Land. Okay, so where are you going to put this man to work? You're going to use his brains or his brawn? He's good? Yeah, of course you are. But let's put him to work in the Treasury Department. Yeah, there's justice for all, isn't there? But not only that, we'll pay him £30 a year to do the work, to do the government's books. Makes you wonder who his descendants are, doesn't it? Yeah, yes. I want my $900 too. Who's that idiot taking him to court? Let me get my cheque first, then take him to court. So he sits down and he writes to his wife Catherine. He says, look, Catherine, I'm being treated so nicely. Why don't you board the next vessel and join me in Van Diemen's Land? Which, of course, wives did everything their husbands said in those days, and she did exactly that. Boarded the very next vessel. But on the same boat, there's another chap, a Mr. Montague. Now, Mr. Montague had just been made the new magistrate in Hobart Town. Paint the picture. You've got a beautiful young woman, you've got a handsome young man on the same ship for 6 long months. Not a lot to do. There's no videos, there's no casinos, and there's no dance halls. So what do? They get involved. They arrive in Hobart Town. Montague dumps Catherine, takes up his position as magistrate. Catherine tells Henry what she's done. He's devastated, as he would be, and he attempted to cut his own throat. He took it very seriously. Catherine was sent home to England in disgrace. She's now a fallen woman. But Henry starts to pull himself together. He starts writing articles and he does sketches for the newspaper. He receives a certificate of freedom, and now he writes the first novel ever been accredited as being published by an Australian, called Quintus Servington, the Fifth Son. So if you're a little confused at how come he's an Australian, you're only bad when you're English. We're supposed to out here. When you do something good, you're now Australian, okay? You're bad again, we'll send you back. There's rules. So we just keep changing the rules to suit ourselves. So Henry now pulls himself together and he writes articles, does sketches, he receives a certificate of freedom, he writes the book, and he's in Hobart and back in business. But old habits do tend to die hard. Those 5 sticky fingers got caught in the till once more. So he figured, I'll just forge a few more bills to balance the books. Well, what's the difference between London and Hobart? Still stands today. Population. Chances are, you break the law in Hobart, you will be caught. So now it's off to the courthouse once more. The icing on the cake, who on earth might the magistrate be in this court? funny how history comes full circle. And the same man that took his wife was now in charge of his life. And it was Montague who sentenced him here to Port Arthur, where according to the records he did die by the way of a stroke. But it also says, or was it by the way of a stroke of a knife? So they may mean that he never got over the heartache of his wife cheating on him, but I think he had forgotten that he was the one that committed the crime in the first place. So rest in peace, Henry. A little bit like Scasey of a few years ago, white collar crime. But there you have it, born in the upper crust and he's died in the lowest class of all. Rest in peace, Henry. Not supposed to profit.